Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of For the Fans podcast. We are here as we are going into the championship round for the playoffs, where I think we have a team or two that we didn't quite expect to make it.
Well, one for sure.
Yay.
One for sure. Two debatable.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I kind of figured that the Eagles would make it. It's
See,
the Commanders that were the surprise,
I know
and
a
the other
lot of
two.
people saying the Eagles should not have made it.
It was an interesting game to say the least.
Like they
Hmm.
started slipping a little bit and then they got it
Mm,
back, but.
And then,
Yeah,
as
exactly.
as Matt would say, the Kansas City Chiefs don't deserve to be there. So
It, that was a tough game to watch.
that was
Do we just need to
brutal.
leave it at that? I could elaborate more, but that was a tough game to watch.
That was a
Very frustrating.
horrible game to watch.
Yup.
I got a lot of enjoyment out of watching Bills and Ravens. I thought that was a good one. Rams and Eagles was kind of fun despite all the slippage because of the snow. And yeah, Commanders and
Right.
Lions, that was unexpected, but fun to watch
Yeah.
at least.
Oh
Just
yeah.
crazy.
Enjoyed the game.
All right, let's get a little bit of news on there. We've gotten some head coaches hired and fired. We've gotten some GMs hired and fired.
Yeah, how are you feeling, Shane?
I
We kind of
hate
already know the answer to that, but
everything. So it's not that I'm against Trent Baalke being fired. It's more of a I wanted him fired a long time ago because multiple candidates had addressed the issue with there, and it was the worst kept secret in the league that Balky was a limitation on going to Jacksonville. And now we lost Ben Johnson to the Bears, which congrats, McKay. I know you're very happy about that. And I'm happy for you.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and then we were expected to get the second most sought after offensive head coach, which was Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. He had a second interview with Jacksonville and he left. And this is where it's painful. He took a smaller amount of money to stay as the offensive coordinator with the Buccaneers with no guarantee that he's going to take over as the head coach because, as he said, they just didn't want to make changes and a lot of stuff just was not going to go well.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, then Shad Khan fires Trent Baalke, and now we lost potentially the top 3 to 4 head coaching candidates because I think it was Liam Cohen's pick for GM was Spytech, who just went over to the Raiders and now they're GM. So that's going to hurt Cohen's chances of going to Jacksonville. And then Johnson's with the Bears, and Vrabel is with the Patriots, and now Aaron Glenn is most likely signing with the Jets.
Yeah.
It's a bad
Most
day.
likely.
It's just bad because everyone's looking at the Jaguars and be like, wow, this is the worst managed fan base right now.
Yep.
It's not great. I gotta be honest with you.
It's
It's
pretty
it's
bad.
definitely a mess.
He just held on to Balky for too long just to do it way too late. He shouldn't have let a coach walk out of the building without firing Trent Baalke and then immediately the same day fire him just a couple hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't consider the Jaguars in their situation being the worst run fan situation. I
No, but
still
it's
feel I still feel like I got. I mean, the Raiders and the Giants are in really rough shape right now, but I also still feel like I got to give it to the Cowboys too, because that's a
yeah.
giant mess too, whether they like
They're
it or
a
not. They
mess.
got to find a new head coach as well.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna be transferring from college here soon, so that's the word on the
Yeah.
street. So we'll see if that
Yeah.
happens.
Oh man. But then, yeah, I mean, outside of the head coaching hires and changes there, particularly, I guess for the Lion or not the Lions, excuse me. Well, yes, for the Lions, but also for the Bears, the Jets, the Jaguars, changes that have been made there. You got to be talking about the 4 teams that are out. Um, of the playoffs and really just what their situation looks like here. You know, the Texans, the biggest thing that they got to address right now is I know Joe Mixon was openly critical of the refs, which I think was
Fair.
was warranted. But he's facing fines as a result, which is unfortunate. But I mean, you got to be real here. The two roughing the passer penalties that they called, oh my! Even the commentators knew that was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the rules committee person knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, like I was saying all season, it just feeds into my theory. Plus, I saw an interesting video today, when it was talking about all the different breakdowns of all the bad calls and everything, and then shortly after they talked about how Joe Mixon's getting fined, it's like, okay, why is he not why is he the only one getting fined? Because I know a couple other players were outspoken about it too, and it's like,
That's true.
if you're gonna fine someone for doing something, you gotta fine everybody,
That's a good point.
So,
Very good point.
but I also think it's
because that's the Roger Goodell way.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Texans, I don't think they played necessarily bad. It kind of just followed up what they did last season, so it's like they look great and then they just fell apart when it mattered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't really say that was the main factor for this one.
Especially considering because they never turned the ball over.
Right. Like, it's like, yeah.
The kicking game did not help. The poor kicking did not help. Fairbairn, I was really saying to myself, because I had Fairbairn in a couple of different fantasy leagues this year, and he was pretty reliable. And I was saying to myself, I'm like, boy, I'm glad fantasy season is over, because I would not be happy to be relying on him right now.
Right. Yeah, so I don't think nothing really went wrong with them. I just think they were put in like a no-win scenario.
Yeah, for sure. Doomed from the start, and it went off weird for them at the beginning with that crazy punt return or that kickoff return right at the beginning, and then the player pushing his coach. It was weird for the Texans. I'm hoping the next game that the Chiefs play has a very different outcome.
Well, I won't say outcome. I'll say officiating outcome.
Yeah.
So
Lions.
Yeah.
What's the biggest takeaway you can get from Lions? I know, Matt, when we went on the group chat, as soon as that game was over, you threw the blame at Jared Goff. Elaborate on that a little bit.
I just think he didn't show up like he had been all season. Like, he's Mr. Automatic, had several games where he like literally missed like a pass or two, like, and he just fell apart. Like, he's like the old Jared Goff that was at the Rams, just he's there, but
I got to admit that some of the play calling was awful too. I mean, the most egregious thing I'm looking at there is I just say to myself, and I guess technically whether that's you throw it at, I guess the play calling for this would be Ben Johnson. So hey, great, there's my new head coach for the Bears. But when it's crunch time, I don't see how it was. When it's not crunch time, I get it. Throw in a couple of those cutesy trick plays like the fake fumble that they did when they played the Bears actually. But I didn't see any point in when it's crunch time to throw in some sort of wacky trick play where you have Jameson Williams throw the football into the end zone. You got to remember this is an NFL defense that we're playing against. The defense is Dan Quinn, head coach Dan Quinn's specialty. It's not going to be. It's a very similar to play to what happened in the Cotton Bowl between Texas and Arizona State, where they had the running back throw the touchdown pass. That worked, but that's different. That's college. I don't see how that would have ever worked in the NFL.
I don't think that it's that. I think it's more of like they showed too much of the trick plays during the year.
Yeah, that's true.
And it kind of just like made them plan like, oh, they're gonna do something crazy, so we need to expect it. When they had planned for like when they did their first, I think it was the first punt fake, and then it failed. Like, they were all over that. Like, they knew what was coming. They knew they weren't going to actually punt it. So it's like, when it's blown up that bad, it's like, yeah, just throw the trick play crap away and just get back to just getting the ball down the field.
Yeah, I agree.
And now the
So-
Lions are losing both their coordinators too.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a tough one.
They
for them.
pretty much just got gutted. So we'll see
They
what's
are
gonna happen
receiving.
for them.
So
So-
for losing Aaron Glenn, they are receiving a third-round comp pick in each of the Nets' 2 drafts for losing Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
So there's some bright spots.
Yeah, we'll see if they can stay competitive next year. Like they still have great players. It's just, will they have the same kind of like energy going in? And if they can stay healthy, I think it'll be good for them next year. I don't think they're gonna really have like a huge relapse. So, and then same with the next team we should talk about, which is the Rams. You know, I feel like they got kind of the injury bug early on as well. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's just kind of people trying to get into groove, get into, playing shape and championship shape, and it's just they couldn't get there. Plus Stafford getting banged up like right at the beginning probably didn't help their case. Like he was going to play either way, but I feel like that kind of didn't really help their situation.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, and with that one, but here's the thing: is I feel like the Rams, like the opportunity was there. You know what I mean? I really felt like it was looking good there. I mean, they almost had it. They almost had it. The biggest thing, the issue though for them though, is if we want to place blame on it, I know this might sound like kind of a cop out, but I gotta blame the weather for the Rams circumstances. I just don't think they know how to handle what happens when there is a snowstorm and how to hold on to the ball when that happens. Neither Matthew Stafford nor Kyron Williams knew what to do. Kyron Williams, I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? He's only been in the league. This is what his second year. Running back is from LA. Stafford, he's been out of Detroit for too long, and Detroit played under a roof anyway.
Right. Yeah. Playing in the elements is always, can punch you in the mouth sometimes.
Well, and it's a way of knowing how to be prepared for it and how to respond to it. The Rams didn't know how to effectively respond to it. Saquon Barkley, when it first began, yeah, he was slipping a lot. He was struggling, but then he adapted and then he ran off that huge run for a touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying it doesn't help that Barkley also had, over 200 yards. So
Yes, exactly.
that's never a good thing.
Yeah. And then back to the now going to the Ravens here. I would say the biggest issue was turnovers.
Yep, 100%.
Plain and simple.
And not holding on to the ball.
Yeah, and not catching.
Mm-hmm. The Mark Andrews drop was what killed it.
That's true. He fumbled once, and then he dropped the ball on the game-tying conversion.
Yep.
On an easy catch too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
the
an easy
standards
catch.
of he should have had that. Like I feel like any other day, one of the top 5 tight ends in the league should have come down with that.
And yet, you remember at the very beginning of the season, that very first game against the Chiefs, like so many fantasy owners, myself included, had picked up Mark Andrews, and then he didn't deliver, so we all dropped him to try and pick up Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I remember
It's
that.
not been a good year for Andrews.
Yeah.
I mean, he's old. He may retire in the next couple of years.
Yeah, maybe. Did you see Khalil Mack decided to give it another year?
Yeah, I did.
Announced that today. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Wow,
I
Mark
think
Andrews
he's
is
doing a
not as
little more
old as
than
I
me.
thought. He's the same age as me. Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say him and Baker Mayfield are like best friends, right around the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'd say that's anything else you want to elaborate or add on to that with the Ravens and Bills game, Matt?
Honestly, that's it. Like I called it last week. First 1 to 2 turnovers in that game would lose.
And
And
look
they
what
had
happened. Yeah.
2 quick turnovers. It was just like,
Yeah.
yikes, they're toast.
Yeah.
So,
As soon as I saw the second one happen, I actually turned to Emily and I said Matt predicted this. Matt said first 2 turnovers, lose the game, and Emily did not complain because Emily actually hates the Ravens.
yeah.
So.
Well, it's just more of like they're both great teams. And like that's what it would come down to. It,
Mhm.
and then thank goodness the officiating wasn't horrendous. Which
Right, that was one of the few games where I don't feel like it was overly horrendous.
So that's why I was like I said last week, I'll be really disappointed coming into this week if it's just a, you know, yellow cloth flying all over the place. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well,
speaking of yellow cloth, or yellow and red, I should say, the Commanders and Eagles.
a division rivalry. How do you
Oh
think
yeah.
Giants and Cowboys fans are feeling about this right now? How's your mom feeling about this?
Oh, she's
Giants.
lost hope like halfway through the season. Like she's becoming more of a realist now. Instead of,
Oh, that's
oh,
good.
it's our year. She's like, yeah, we're gonna lose.
It's not happening until Jerry Jones kicks the bucket.
Yeah, just waiting
I
for him to die.
I said this in one of my other friend groups that we talk football, and says, if you're a Giants fan, what are you doing right now? I'm like, if you're a Giants fan, you're not a Giants fan right now. You're just gone.
Yeah.
Like you probably already
Oh yeah,
died or left.
there
Right?
was there was a Giants fan who was streaming the Eagles and Rams game, and he was just he was just in shambles after that Saquon Barkley run
Yeah, 'cause they let
that
Yeah.
Saquon
occurred.
walk out for nothing.
But they signed Daniel Jones to a huge contract, and then they lost him now too, or they got rid of him because
They
he was
got rid of
horrible.
him. Which I mean, we
Yeah.
did say there was no reason keeping him.
Yeah.
No, when that deal happened, I remember that being a big head scratcher for all of us.
Yeah. Gets paid and then they
But
bounce him.
But now with the Eagles and the Commanders, this being the situation here, obviously, if you look at the four teams that are still in the hunt here for the Super Bowl for the Lombardi Trophy, the biggest underdog of all of them is the Washington Commanders. It would be very cool to see
Yep.
Jane Daniels be that rookie quarterback who does manage to make it to the Super Bowl. But he has his biggest challenge yet at this point because the Eagles defense is one of the top defenses in the league, not decimated by injuries like the Lions. And then for the defense on the opposite end of the ball, Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
So, with that said, how did the Eagles win this game?
Rely on Saquon, I feel like.
I think so.
See,
I
yes,
think if
but
they can,
No, it's like
if they
yes,
can
but
get
no.
the game out of reach, they need him to keep the clock running and be
I would
productive, which he's
agree.
always been. You know, it's again, you
Yeah.
know, the whole running wins championships. You know, like so is everything else. But anyways, like I
feel
think,
like we need to see something more from Jalen Hurts.
yeah, that's what that's gonna be my next point. I'm like
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is gonna have to show up, and you have to have that double threat.
Because the thing
Yeah.
is,
I don't know if you guys saw, because you guys both watched the game, right?
Yeah.
no.
You saw.
But I'll say I did.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So, Jane, for your reference, Jalen Hurts did have to come out of the game partway through because of a knee injury that occurred.
Yes,
He did go
I
back
saw
in.
that on
He
social
got a
media.
brace. Yeah, he got a brace on, and I think he got some of the good stuff. Let's just say that because he had some
Yep.
very funny comments in the post game where I was like, "Oh, this dude is high off Percocet like you wouldn't believe." But
Yeah.
for that situation, though, going into this NFC Championship game, and furthermore, if the Eagles do win this and go to the Super Bowl, especially, I don't think it even matters who's over on the other side for the AFC, if it is the Chiefs or the Bills. Jalen Hurts has got to bring it in some way because that's how they even had to just stay in the game the last time he was in the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, and it really comes down to it's like, you know, if who knows, like again, like Commanders to surprise everyone. I would love to see him do it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I feel like the safer pick would be the Eagles to win this one, just because they would have a better chance at the Super Bowl,
I want a Commanders and Bills Super Bowl.
which would be dope. I would like that. So,
And then for the Commanders to win and have the Bills be 0-5 in the Super Bowl.
yeah. But, yeah, so I think for me, I think the X factor in this game, like we were kind of touching on a little bit, it's going to be Jalen Hurts. Can he be healthy enough to show up?
It's gonna be quarterbacks, I think. Jalen Hurts
Yeah,
needs to
run
show
and
up,
gun.
and Jaden Daniels needs to work magic.
Yep, he has to be pretty much perfect. No interceptions, no turnovers, no fumbles. He just got to keep the ball in the right team's hand, and just hope your defense can stop the Eagles as well.
Yeah, it's
With that, I will say I'm gonna pick the Commanders to win.
hey. Did we talk about? Sorry, I might have like missed it here a little bit. Did we go into the specifics about how the Commanders win this game?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's mainly gonna
But
come down to Jaden Daniels working his magic.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Eagles on this one. I think Eagles will have it. It'll be a good game for all parties considered, but I think the Eagles are going to pull out.
I mean, the Commanders did win the most recent matchup.
Yeah. So.
It did, but
It was 36
yeah,
to
I'm
33.
yeah, I gotta go with the Eagles on this one.
That's fine.
I like it. I like it. Now we move on to the fun one.
The Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills.
Yep. What the Chiefs need to do to win is have the refs on their side. Yes, that might be biased. That might just be, feeding on what I've been saying all year. But I just don't think, without the refs, I don't think the Chiefs have a chance.
I don't
I
know.
don't think they're good enough to, one, contain Josh Allen the way he's playing and his offense. And they don't have, like, a steamroll offense to be able to just run over the Bills' defense.
So with that, as a better answer, instead of, let's say, the ref situation, if we had to take it from a game perspective, here is my take on how the Chiefs win this game. For the first time this season, they have to score 30 or more points.
Right.
They have to. And I say that 100% legitimate. And the way to do that, the biggest way that I'm going to see it, they have to really find some better way to unlock the run game. Isaiah Pacheco, since coming back from his injury, not useful. Kareem Hunt, not great. And therefore, if you can't do your running game, then you need to unlock your pass game more. Not just one decent pass to Xavier Worthy during the game, and the rest of the time is just check down passes. You got to utilize more than Travis Kelce. You've got to utilize the receivers that you have there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. That's how the Chiefs win this game. Is they have to score. If they cannot do that, I see the Buffalo Bills running them over on this one,
Right.
which I'd like to say I hope finally happens. And so I guess this kind of gives you the indication of how I'm picking in this game. But I really would like to say, because of the Bills' defense that we've seen here, because of how Josh Allen is playing, because of how he has his chemistry where he can go for all of these different receivers. James Cook plays really well too. I fully see the Buffalo Bills finally getting to the top of the mountain and beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Bills need to do is they need to break the streak that they have in the playoffs against the Chiefs.
And it's again we bring out all these different things, right? We're talking about actually the game side of it. When you compare it, it's obvious. But then just because of the quote-unquote conspiracy with the Chiefs and the refs, it's sad that that's a factor. I hate it that it's a factor. It's like, why can't the best team win? Why does the one team...
Mahomes slide, though?
I think they should change the rules on the off season, just because I sent a video to McKay that he also saw at the same time that they were asking Tom Brady about it, and he's like, there's way too many run plays nowadays that are designed for the quarterback, just because of that scenario where they get 10 yards and they'll slide, but there's a high likelihood that they're going to get a roughing the whatever the crap it's called, automatic first down, 15 yards, penalty for targeting, when literally the only part of the body you can hit is the chest up. So I feel like they need to change that rule and be like, if the quarterback runs past the line of scrimmage, he's a runner. He's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
You protect yourself. You slide, that's your own fault. You get lit up, that's your own fault. It shouldn't be a penalty.
Especially
You
because
put
we've
yourself in
had-
that situation.
Especially because we have
Plus, people
My
get
brain's
less
not
injured
working.
when they just run people over or just lower the shoulder and get hit. It's more likely that you're gonna get lit up when you slide. Like, correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but I feel like that is stupid. You're just asking for it at that point.
We've had
But
many
I agree
issues in
with
the
that
past where
too.
players would fake slide too.
Right. Or the Mahomes
Yeah.
faking he's going to go out, everyone slows down, and then all of a sudden he speeds up for another 10, 15 yards. I'm like, that type of crap? No, if you're going for the sideline, you get out. If you wait to the last second and then get lit up, that's your own fault. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be a penalty. But again, in the words of Bill Belichick with the Mannings 2 weeks ago, he said it's an offensive league. They protect the offense. They always
It's
pull in
true.
favor of the offense. And that's the nutshell. So, to get back on track, now that I got that out of my system, I think the Bills just need to keep doing what they've been doing. No turnovers. They cannot make any turnovers. But if they are 0 on turnovers and they can manage to stay clean with the refs, I think they have this in the bag.
In a
And-
nutshell, it's the way for the Bills to win. And I know it sounds really stupid, like, oh, that's how you win a football game. But in a nutshell, the Bills have to do the same thing as the Chiefs. They have to score, score, score. They run it
Right.
up high. They can't. They can't. The Chiefs can't find any way to come back. You know what I mean? They have to score high. They have to not commit turnovers. And I say turnovers is a big thing too because that's how the Ravens blew it against the Chiefs last AFC Championship game.
Yeah. Yeah,
Two
they got
costly
more.
turnovers.
Yeah, and they just do what they did last game. Yeah, they're in the Buffalo, but just do what you did last time. Keep it 2+ scores the entire game, and make them chase you. But then you push it over 30. Like the game should be your
Yeah.
target. I think should be like 45+. Should be their goal this week.
Right, but another part of that too is that defense is essentially able to do what it did to the Ravens. Remember, that Ravens offense is lethal, potent,
Right. Right.
and look what they did. They kept them at bay for a bit there. The Chiefs' offense is not as good as that Ravens offense.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and as of right now, maybe one more thing to add in there too. Maybe this is a little bit of a sign based off of what we saw in the game against the Texans. You have to remember when we had the Chiefs last year, when we said to ourselves, oh, the Chiefs are gone, they're not good, they're limping into the postseason, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, yada 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 yada. Well, as soon as the postseason happened, they took off. They really made it difficult for the Dolphins. The Dolphins couldn't get anything done, and then they pretty much laid into the Bills in the next game. And then they just managed to stay just a hair ahead of the Ravens and just a hair ahead of the 49ers.
Right.
That I haven't seen this season thus far. It seemed
Correct.
very much a struggle
Yeah.
against the Texans, where, let's be honest, two of those times that they scored only happened because of the roughing the passer penalty.
Right. That gave them a new set of downs and more yardage.
And
Yeah.
could the Texans have maybe been more in it if they had actually made their kicks? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have won, but
No.
just a
With
different
couple of
thing to
those
keep in
calls.
mind too. The Bills are a more disciplined team than the
Yep.
Texans, and the Chiefs just kind of. The biggest thing I got to see here is if the Chiefs are going to play the Bills here, do they all of a sudden wake up? That's my
Yeah.
biggest fear with it. Do they wake up? Do we all of a sudden start seeing that? Rest situation aside, do they wake up? I don't think so.
don't see it. Yeah, they've been playing just all year. It's not going to be all of a sudden it's championship week. We're going to dominate everybody. I'm like, no, I have not seen any glimmer of that at all.
Yeah.
So, and then one thing before we move on to the fun stuff, I think one of the guys on the Bills, some like second string dude, just needs to take one for the team. And if Mahomes is doing his little slow roll to the sideline while he's running, just take him out. Just lay the boom on him. Take the 15 yards, but teach him, do this crap again, you're going to get hurt. Just kind of get that mentality and make a little bit of fear in there so you won't do that crap no more.
Can I be honest with you about something too? This is just a thought with it too. And you said if some guy is just going to lay into Mahomes, there's probably no better team to be on to have that opportunity than that of the Bills. One, because it would feel so good as a Bills player. Two, if that happened and then the Bills, won the game and went on to the Super Bowl, the amount of donations that would pour in from Bills fans to this player's charity or just pouring in to pay his fine would be astronomical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying hurt him and go for the knee. I'm saying you lay him out. You truck the crap out of him to be like, yeah, you're not pulling this crap this game. That's the message they need to send.
Yeah.
Put some fear into him that you do this, we'll accept the 15 yards, but you're going to be hurting. That's the other side of the coin. Playing old school, nasty football, and that would scare them off. But
it's true. Well, yeah, and it does sound. I know this sounds like Bountygate conversation. I know it does. But, but let's be honest here. You lay out Mahomes, their backup is Carson Wentz.
Right.
You scared? I wouldn't be.
No. So, TBD now.
Yep, we'll see.
Let's wait and watch.
That'll be good. All right, let's go here into our all-time fantasy team. This is a little bit of our idea for our first part of For the Fun for this week. And we got a second part too, if we have time. But how this is going to work is, we don't have Tyler here with us tonight because now it's Tyler's turn to go to Disneyland. Lucky son of a gun. He will. So we'll be drafting all-time NFL players in a couple of different positions. We're gonna each of us will draft a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 single lineman because we don't want to draft an entire line of Hall of Famers.
Just one specific lineman. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a team a year.
I see it's that same thing.
I know Shane thought that too. I should have specified, but I did it that way because I wanted to give the O-line some love. You know what I mean?
Okay.
One guy. And then a defense from 1 year, and then an all-time coach.
A defense from 1 year, or one defensive player?
How do you guys want to do it?
I had a player, not a team.
I can do player too. Player doesn't matter to me. There's plenty of just player options.
Let's do player because we're picking one player from everything basically.
Okay, sounds good. And then like I was saying, a coach too.
Yeah.
So to do that, we have to do a draft order, which is determined by a number generator. So what I do have on my side is I do have a number generator that Yep, we are drafting.
Yeah.
As it says on there, and then once one of us picks one player, that player cannot be taken by another team. So maybe have a couple tabs open as we do this to make sure you have some ideas.
I got a few already.
Okay, perfect. So let's kick this off, Shane. I'll go with you first. Doing the number 1 through 6, and this will kind of determine our order here. So generating first for Shane, you rolled a 3.
Okay.
Matt, you rolled a 1.
I know who Matt.
I go first. Yeah, let's go.
He's gonna grab Tom
and I rolled
Brady.
a 2. I rolled a 2, so.
So I go first, right? Because I got 1.
Depends on how Shane feels about that. I don't think you'd like that.
I'm fine with it. He's gonna go quarterback. He's gonna grab Tom Brady.
Yeah, you might as well just get it out of the way. Let's just get it out of the way.
Sure, all right, Matt goes first then.
All right, Tom Brady for my quarterback.
I'm fine with it because he's predictable.
Oh yeah, the GOAT.
Smart thing to do, yeah. If you're coming up next. Okay, so for mine, if I'm drafting second overall, I'm definitely going with my quarterback here too. Remember, one thing I got to keep in mind too here is once we are done, then we do get to have a little bit of a conversation here about whose team would play the best.
Yeah.
Against the other. So my quarterback on this one, I know there are a lot of really, really good options here, but I like consistency. I like arm talent. If I can't have Tom Brady, someone else who I want to have that I know is going to be a good playmaker, I'm going with my favorite player of all time, actually, and that is Drew Brees.
I hate you. I was hoping you would pick someone else because I had him. I was like, oh, I'll probably get Drew Brees.
Nope, he just could. I'm taking Drew Brees.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to go quarterback because I can essentially grab whoever I want.
True, there's a lot of options.
Yep.
So that's where it gets tricky because what do I go for next? And there's a lot of talented players in some of these categories, but I think this could be a mistake in your guys' eye. I'm gonna go running back, and I'm gonna grab LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh, I wanted him. I really was thinking about getting him. So no, I don't consider that.
That's a really good pick.
Oh, I
I
love
like
LT.
it.
Yeah. My
All
turn.
right, Matt. Back to you.
Randy
doesn't
Moss.
doesn't go back to McKay because McKay picked second.
No, so we're going in.
Do you want to do
so
a
this is
snake
Oh.
draft?
round.
Okay, you're doing draft.
It's not snake. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, it's not snake order.
We're not snaking.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, we're
Oh,
not.
man.
It's not like a fan. Yeah, it's not like one of those fantasy drafts. We're trying to treat it like the NFL draft. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm gonna pick last every
So
time.
far,
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with Randy Moss. Like he was, and if it's a prime Randy Moss, it's freaking game over.
Let me guess, Matt. Are you gonna pick Bill Belichick as your coach as
Nope.
well?
I am not.
Okay.
I mean,
I
I
am
don't
torn
know,
right now
you're-
between.
You're kind of just going all Patriots players.
I feel like for my next pick, here's the thing: is I know they typically say in fantasy, never, and even in the NFL draft, they're like never pick a running back that early. And there are a couple of running backs I have in mind. Whereas like for wide receiver, I have a couple in mind, but there's really one that sticks out. So considering Matt took Randy Moss, I'm taking the other great off the board. I've got Jerry Rice.
Ooh. See,
Thank
that's
goodness.
where I was gonna go, but man, you guys are just following each other, so I think I just gotta keep playing off of what you guys are doing. Oh
Okay.
man, it's torn between two. I think I'm gonna go with my coach. You guys might scratch your head, but you may not. I'm gonna go with Don Shula.
That's a good pick.
Ooh. Not bad there.
He has like the best
like it.
record as a coach.
It's true. Matt?
But was Don Shula your coach, Matt?
Kind of.
Yes, yes. I'm sleeping everybody at the
I'm
third.
probably gonna go with, just because so far you guys haven't said it, and I'm just gonna stick with the wide receivers right now. But I think having these two on the field would be disgusting.
Mm-hmm. I think I know where you're going.
Do you?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
Who do you think
Pretty-
he's gonna be?
Terrell
Tell me.
Owens.
Nope.
Oh,
Calvin Johnson.
I thought you were about to say Calvin Ridley, and
Ooh.
I was gonna laugh my head off.
Good pick.
A huge target, and then the
He
fast
was
target.
good.
Like they're both fast, but yeah, I think that's a disgusting duo at wide receiver 1 and 2, Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson.
I think I still would have gone
Yikes.
someone over Calvin Johnson.
Nah, he.
I love
he didn't
Megatron.
break his hand so much.
I love Megatron, but
I
I
love
think
watching him.
I think there's like one or two guys that are slightly better.
Well, the other one is, someone that McKay already took, so can't take him.
I mean, they're still on
Yeah.
the board.
Right.
Okay.
Well, McKay, you gonna grab your
Um,
second receiver?
No, I'm not actually, because I want to get him here because I know he's going to be the favorite here. I'm gonna grab Lawrence Taylor at defense.
I was not gonna
Damn
grab Lawrence
you.
Taylor, but he was my second pick.
It's amazing.
He was my second pick.
That's
All right, Shane.
I will say, McKay, I will follow suit with you for once, but I'm not. This might be some people's unpopular. I'm gonna go with Troy Polamalu.
Ooh.
You really like him, so I get it.
That's
And he's
But at
great.
the same time, Troy Polamalu, his timing for jumping onto the quarterback and just disrupting the line was so perfect.
Did you guys see what I sent our group text? It was that old Nike commercial of Shane. They're both on your team, LT and Troy Polamalu, like training as young kids, and then when I started, man, that got me hyped, dude.
I love, man, good times, good players. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I like a lot of the players in today's day and age, but I feel like we don't have too many of these like big names yet. We have good players, but I don't think they'll be like a top 5 or 10.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
It could change. Could change.
Yeah.
So is it my turn?
Back to you. Yep.
My coach would be Vince Lombardi.
Yep.
Dang it!
Yep. I figured one of you two was going there.
I didn't think you guys would go for it just yet. I was waiting.
yeah.
I was like, I'm on defense.
Oh, no.
Man,
I realized, I'm like, who would be a good coach for my lineup
I was
so
debating
far?
between Don Shula and Vince Lombardi. It was one of those two.
Oh, man.
Goodness.
Yep.
All right. Well, I can save my coach to the very end now, since you guys have both drafted.
Yep.
In that regard. So maybe that's something nice for me. I'm gonna go O line actually, and I'm gonna get Anthony Munoz.
Dang it! That's who I was just about to grab.
Yes.
Was literally just about to be like, I'm gonna grab Anthony Munoz at offensive line because no one else is gonna touch it.
Oh, got him.
Jeez. Hate you so much for that. I was hoping you would go for your second wide receiver. Ugh.
No, I'm still torn on that one.
I'm a little torn. Oh wait, it's not my turn, is it?
No, it's mine. I'm mulling something over right now.
I'm not gonna say.
Gosh, dang you, McKay. I was really wanting Anthony Munoz.
I'm really glad I grabbed him when I did.
I think
Makes me feel better about Matt grabbing Vince Lombardi.
I think I just gotta grab the best person available for the slots that no one else has yet. I'm going Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, I wanted him.
I know you grabbed Munoz from me. You could have gone Gonzalez, but nope.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Matt.
So, lineman. I hope I mess with Shane's pick. I was gonna go with John Hannon, but I'm like, you know what? It's too many Patriots players. Let's mix it up, and I'll go with Larry Allen.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Whenever I do like any Madden like franchise with Hall of Famers, he's always in the lineup.
See, I'm not gonna
for
lie.
my linemen.
I was hoping McKay would go Larry Allen so that I could grab Anthony Munoz.
Yeah, I do Larry Allen, Anthony Munoz. I usually get Jim Otto, Orlando Pace, John Hannon. Yeah, those are always the good and usually are the best picks for offensive linemen. But yeah, that's my pick.
Cool. I could save that to the end then.
I will go with my second wide receiver here. Man, the picks that you've made, Matt, are really, really good. And I'm surprised that Shane hasn't done any of this yet. So Shane, if you did have this guy on your mind, I apologize, but
no, you don't.
I was hoping to grab him at a good point. I'm taking Larry Fitzgerald.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about that one. I think he was my sixth choice wide receiver, but
Okay. And it's back to you.
ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I just have free pickings of kind of whatever now. I don't have to compete with anybody.
That's true.
Wow, none of you guys grabbed Terrell Owens?
Hey, he's on the board. He's available.
He's available.
Wow.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with T.O.
Yeah, that's
Not
still a good
bad.
pick.
Yeah, very good pick. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
It is. I'm worried about who you're picking at running back. I'd be who I want.
Is it something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
It's not. Bo Jackson.
Oh, Bo Jackson's a good pick too, though. But I might as well just say cat's out of the bag now. For my running back,
I was gonna say OJ, but
Gosh. Matt literally is just building the Patriots again.
oh man.
Bo Jackson's a great pick.
Well,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna grab.
Athletic.
I think I'm gonna grab my last wide receiver. There's some really, really old school guys that I could probably go with, but I don't know much about them. Because I mean, I'm just looking at like old wide receivers too, and I'm just like, McKay, do you know who Don Hudson is?
I've heard the name before. Remember his achievements or who?
He played from 1935 to 1945, and he was a Packers.
Oh,
Oh, but he did have a record of 99 career receiving touchdowns that was not passed until 40 years after he retired.
Mm.
But I mean, it's old school, like really, really old school football is just so different than today's day and age.
Oh.
That's
Some
it,
of the guys I'm looking at for my defense, if they played in today's day and age, I think people would die.
possibly. But I mean, drugs were legal back then. I think for my second wide receiver, I'm gonna go with Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that.
Good pick.
He's always a pain in the rear end.
Yes, he was.
Oh man, it's hard to pick the defense. I'm thinking of them as like they'll be like the cornerstone of the team. Like they'd be like the captain, just leading everyone out and just dominating.
That's why I got Troy Polamalu, a true captain, all over the field. Need him to rush, he's got it. Need him to drop back,
Oh, and
he's got it.
You know, you guys got Lawrence Taylor, so that was gonna be one of the picks.
Well, Lawrence Taylor, line disruptor. I got a guy who can kind of do it all. Do you want a dominant in the line, or do you want a dominant all around?
That's the thing. It's like, to be honest, like again, I was gonna pick all Patriot players because then you guys just deal with it. So I was gonna do Rodney Harrison for my defense, but
Matt's predictable.
or Asante Samuel because he was pretty awesome. But I think since it's an overall thing, I'm probably gonna have to go with defensive pick. You know,
I mean, do you beat McKay out for
lineup,
a tight end, or do you just go defense when you have your choice?
I'm gonna go defense.
Oh,
and we're gonna go with Ronnie Lott.
Okay.
Kind of contains some of your guys' receivers.
McKay, I feel like he just gave you the number 2 overall tight end.
I did. You're welcome.
Maybe. If you're thinking I'm going Gronk, I'm not actually.
I did not think Gronk. That's who Matt's gonna grab. You're gonna go Antonio Gates, aren't you?
I am taking Antonio Gates.
The true number 2 tight end.
Are they though?
Yes, they are.
I'm kidding.
You know.
I'm kidding.
You would
I
think.
recognize Tony Gonzalez.
You would think that
Antonio Gates is where it's at.
That I would be picking a Jaguar for my team, but they fall a little short. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Ogden.
I'm not surprised. I didn't pick any Bears players on mine.
And then Matt's team is basically all Patriots.
It's not all Patriots.
It's a basic team.
Bo Jackson?
True. There's about half of them.
Vince Lombardi?
I mean, Calvin Johnson. Trust me, I know there's not, but...
Yeah. Hey, Matt. Tight end. Let's hear it.
I really don't want to pick the tight end I want to pick.
Gronk?
No. Fine. I'll do it. Jason Witten.
Oh, okay.
Wow, okay. I think
Gotta
there
be
were
different.
a few that I might pick before then, but not. I like it.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I wanna
he
take-
was super reliable.
True.
Super reliable. Yeah, he had really crappy, quarterbacks, but I feel like he always showed out.
You guys want to take a gander on my last pick, who I'm taking as coach?
Dick
Oh,
Butkus.
I will be mad if you do Bill Belichick, but I'm gonna say
Probably gonna say Andy Reid.
there's one coach that McKay likes I don't think we've talked about yet.
Bill Walsh.
Who I'm taking.
Oh yeah.
Nice. I like it.
49ers dynasty coach.
I thought
Yep.
you were going with Chuck Noll.
You know, actually, really, I was thinking it might be funny to go with someone like George Halas or Mike Ditka, but
I did think possibly Ditka, but I'm like, I don't think you like Ditka did a lot for you guys, but I don't think you would go there.
I thought about it, but Bill Walsh, I mean, that's just different. Bill Walsh is on the upper echelon. He's up there with Shula and Lombardi and Belichick.
Yeah.
And so is Alice, but anyway.
Right.
Uh, now I go to my quarterback, and I'm torn between two. But sadly, I personally, I think this would just be much, much better with Peyton Manning and reuniting him with Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, that seems like a good pick.
It was
Well,
either,
we already know my team's better than yours because Tom Brady owns Manning. You know.
And
okay,
Breeze.
hold on. You want me to put
We'll save that for later.
Okay, hold on. Here you go, Matt.
We'll save
I'll
that.
put in Eli.
Let's do it.
Here
Your
we go.
funeral.
Your
Okay,
funeral.
so,
How
but
many
with-
times has Brady
if we're
beaten
saying-
Eli in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Let's do a stack up here just with it at each position. As talented as Drew Brees and Peyton Manning are, I do think we have to have the solid argument that Tom Brady would be the top one of the
I'm
three.
not going to argue that because both of you are very big in Tom Brady's ago. I don't think so because there's too many conspiracies around there, so I'm just going to concede on that one, not say anything.
All right. Okay, so moving on to running back here. Now, I'm going to put this out here, but I'm actually going to say it's Barry Sanders because of one, first off, his college record, two, his NFL record. There's very few other running backs who have the yards that he had, the career that he had, the scoring that he had, and he even technically is kind of like Jordan where he had part of it cut short. Achievement-wise on that level, he is above LT and Bo Jackson.
Hold on, I need to pull all this stuff off to fact check.
I may have exaggerated a little bit, but that's how I see it. As I say, Barry Sanders, the top one there.
I feel like we're all dumb and we were all stupid and wrong. I feel like there were two running backs that we should have probably taken before.
Yes, I know. Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton were there, but
And Jim Brown.
Well, if you want to talk about potential cut short and all that, Bo Jackson only played for 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's true.
If he would have rounded out at 10, like Sanders, that's my argument. It's like, what could he have done?
Here, hold on. I'm looking at some
Let's do this.
statistics right now.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, though, potential though is just dead energy. You know what I mean? We don't. Who knows? You know what I mean? We don't know.
That's why I didn't pick Tony Boselli as a lineman because he was one of the most dominant linemen to ever play, but he only played for like 4 years. So this is where I make the argument of, do we go off of potential, which is a scary word for a professional athlete, or do we go after career success? Because in that case, LT had the longest career. He has the most rushing touchdowns in a season of 28, and he has a lot of other stats I don't even want to go into.
And see, I just see if you were to put LT and Barry Sanders head to head, Barry Sanders would win.
But see, here's the thing: are we talking about them with their team or them by themselves? Because the Chargers for the longest, I was like, the Chargers for a long time were kind of bad.
Yeah, I say by themselves still. Barry
I would
Sanders.
say that Barry Sanders, I think, is the more recognized name. I think that career accomplishments, he falls a little bit short of LT, but they're very, very close with each other.
Almost sounds like we need to table that one. We can't make a decision on that one.
Yeah.
Oh. They
But-
actually played for the same amount of years total.
So we just going off of based off strictly just matchup head to head with every position, or are we talking about?
Yeah,
The team
matchup
as a
head to head
whole.
their position. No, them as a player. How do we think that it would stack out? Who would
I'm
be the
literally
I
top
think
one?
I think it's hard to say.
I think we
honestly.
might need to table that for running
Yeah.
backs, honestly.
Yeah.
I would
no
say that this
decision
is
on
probably a tie because they had their stats are almost identical too.
Okay, so
Well,
we're gonna hold off on
yeah.
that one.
Hold off
Like
on
Let's
that.
go to our wide
LT
rec-
LT got more touchdowns but had less career rushing yards.
Yeah.
But he had more career rushing hold on. So Barry Sanders had 99 career rushing touchdowns. LT had 145.
Yeah.
But Barry Sanders had about 2,000 more yards rushing than LT did. So it's very, what are you valuing more, I guess.
Well, and then trying to put it in perspective of how you think it would stick out based off those stats.
And I'm even looking at career receiving touchdowns. LT was like the touchdown machine, where Barry Sanders was definitely the yard machine.
Yeah.
We'll call this one a tie, I think. I think that's the most fair way to do this.
I would agree. And I think we might have to do that for a couple of other ones, these potentially.
Oh boy.
For wide receiver 1, look, if we're just going off of his success and accolades alone and abilities and yards and overall, I mean, I think, Terrell Owens, he's good. Randy Moss cuts it close, but I think Jerry Rice is the best of the 3.
Here's the thing, if I had my pick overall of wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 of who I would want on my team, no questions asked, I would have Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. So I would literally say wide receiver 2, no one gets a point, but wide receiver 1, one of you gets 1 point, one gets the other, unless you want to compare straight wide receiver 1s.
Well, we're just doing straight wide receiver 1.
Who? I might have to go with Jerry Rice.
I'll have to do Jerry Rice just because. Yeah, like, again, they're both there. Like
they're both
hard.
there, but yeah.
He just gets it maybe just because he has like maybe a ring or two.
There's also the argument too, though, that before certain defensive rules were introduced, that would have made it even easier to score as a wide receiver, he was still outdoing that of modern wide receivers today.
I think Jerry Rice is still the best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah,
stat wise.
It's 100% 1 and 2. So I'd give it to Jerry. I'm okay with it.
Now, if we're doing a comparison of our wide receiver 2s that we have on our list, my pick would be Calvin Johnson.
I'm not opposed to Calvin Johnson. I think him and Marvin Harrison are close, but I think Calvin Johnson is just slightly higher.
Right. I just think Calvin Johnson was just a unit. There's a reason he was called Megatron.
I mean, I will say that Marvin Harrison definitely had a longer year, but I feel like Marvin Harrison didn't really explode until he got Peyton Manning.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas Megatron, I feel like, carried the Lions' sadness
for a long time.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Partly why he probably stopped playing. Tony Gonzalez.
Tight end? Yeah, Tony Gonzalez. No question.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's everything.
Yeah. Lineman?
I gotta go Anthony Munoz.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm like, he was so dominant. He wasn't even listed as like the number 1 offensive lineman for some things, but I'm like, he had the only season that he wasn't named a Pro Bowl or an All Pro was his rookie year.
Yeah.
And he started 184 out of his 185 games.
Yeah.
That's what I want in a lineman, a dominant lineman who was there every day.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is defense. Guys, might have to not choose one on that one just because we've got different skill sets.
Positions, yes.
Yeah.
Defense.
I don't think we can pick one. What was that?
Honestly,
I say defense. We all win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Wins across the board.
Again, they're all just amazing in their position.
Yeah. Ronnie. I mean, Ronnie Lott and Lawrence Taylor. I mean, just monster. And Troy Polamalu. I mean, he was the utility knife.
Right.
And I gotta say, imagine all 3 of those guys on the same team at the same time.
I'd rather not.
No. Especially if I'm going up against them in coverage. Yeah.
It'd be a miserable game. And then coach.
There's a reason Vince Lombardi's name is on the trophy.
Yep. I was saying 5 championships in 7 years. Like that's.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'll give that one.
I'm fine conceding that. I will just say with the coach thing, like what Don Shula did was phenomenal.
Yeah. I completely agree. Well, Don Shula, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the one who had the one undefeated season too.
Mm-hmm.
With the good old fish.
Let's see. Yeah, so Shula's 328 regular season win and 347 total wins remain all-time records, so no other coach has beaten that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had 31 winning seasons. Jeez.
Yeah. So Vince Lombardi goes to me, and we might have to talk about running back to break the tie.
To break the tie.
And the only thing I would say, Bo Jackson had better average per carry his rookie year. He had 6.8.
I mean, here's the thing. Where would the tie truly go? Because Bo Jackson was not in our top 2 discussion category at all. And McKay had already tied for the running back.
I could concede, honestly, and just say
I was
it's
gonna
that
say, I was like,
But
we would
that-
be
if I
tied
have
with
to-
some input.
I would say
Yeah.
I kind of don't want. I'm just saying, like, they're evenly matched. I feel like, Bo Jackson just got a short. He just got hosed. He blew it out his knee. And Sanders was just reliable for 10 years, and it's like, okay, what could he have done? Especially with like his physique and physicality. He was just as fast and shifty as Barry Sanders. It's just, his knee went bye-bye.
I mean, I'm
But
just
if we
gonna
had to
say,
do face value, you would probably have to say Barry Sanders just because he was consistently always.
I mean, I would say overall
So if you had
teams,
to-
I think the discussion is we all have very good teams, and it's going to be hard to decide which team everyone would rather have overall.
Right.
Because, I mean,
Well,
drafting
if you take
third,
our
I
yeah.
still came up with some really good pieces,
Alright.
so it's more just of a lot of my pieces may not be the number 1, but a lot of them are number 2.
So let's take Tyler's spot in the little thing, and we'll put in like the picks that we had. So it'll be Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So we could just see what the ultimate team would be.
LT.
Yeah.
Then we got we said Jerry Rice.
Oh, is it LT?
We'll say LT
Yeah,
/
I can see them
Sanders.
set up. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
LT.
we'll do Sanders Tomlinson. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
The 1-2 punch.
yeah, that'd be awful.
Wide receiver 1, we got
Randy.
Jerry Rice.
Oh, jeez. Or I was gonna put Randy Moss and Jerry Rice, but Jerry Rice.
Overall, out of everyone's list, yes. But for what we have as
Jerry
listed,
Rice,
and then Megatron for
Calvin
2.
Johnson, and then
Tony
Tony
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
We got lineman Anthony Muno. Defense
was Lawrence
all
T.
above.
Yeah. Well, I would say Lawrence Taylor. Or even then, like, actually, that would be a great team with like all the stuff like LT,
Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott,
Troy
and
Polamalu.
Troy Paul.
and then Vince Lombardi, we said,
Vince
is leading
Lombardi.
the charge.
Yeah. Like that is a disgusting overall team.
That is nuts.
That would be a nightmare to play against.
Have a college
That's
team
like
go up
looking-
against them.
Because I would think if the game was a little different, Barry Sanders would be perfect for those little quick out routes too. Not just running.
That's true.
All right, we're gonna do our how to be an NFL fan game, but we're gonna do one, and it's for McKay primarily.
Sounds good. I was going to say really quick, Shane, I know you won't fully understand this, but I know Matt will to some degree. This lineup that we have put together here for football, that any other team would be terrified to play against and would just be demolished. Kind of looking like what a lot of baseball teams are going to have to deal with this upcoming season against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes, no, I know. Baseball is so bad, and they need to have certain rules in place.
Deferred payments for the win.
Yep, deferred money over $1 billion.
Richest
But
team.
It's all revenge against the Astros for cheating them out of a World Series in 2017.
Gosh.
And the Yankees.
Yeah. all those years.
Yep.
Moneyball.
All right, McKay.
Yeah.
You
All right,
ready?
I'm ready.
All right, because last week McKay did a little fun game show for all of us, and he was asking the question, felt a little left out, and so I came up with one team, and I came up with some things about this team of how to be a fan of this team. McKay, are you ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So the three things for this team is that one, you called pulled pork and only pulled pork barbecue. The team, you would go uptown to the city. They call it uptown and then the city. And the third thing is that before the name was decided, there were three nicknames for this team. They were Cobras, Rhinos, and Cougars before considering and deciding on this team name.
Dang.
I told McKay it was gonna make it very vague and hard.
Yeah, all those again one more time. Pulled pork, something about pulled pork.
Yeah, so pulled pork is just called barbecue, so nothing, so like ribs, not barbecue, ribs are ribs. Pulled pork is called barbecue.
Okay.
You have to go uptown, so the stadium is located in uptown of this city that this team plays in.
Okay.
And
Yep.
the nicknames for this team before they chose their name were Cobras, Rhinos, and Cougars.
Throwing me off with the
With the
throwing me
names.
off with with the names. That's like
Doesn't help you at all.
no. Pulled pork. It's making me think that it's more of a southern.
Southern
I'll tell
team,
you that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. So if I'm narrowing that down, I'm thinking. So I got the two teams in Texas. I there's no way that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to say pulled pork is barbecue. So I'm ruling them out. So you got those two. Consider the Titans. I'm not going to say the Falcons. I'm not going to say any of the Florida teams either. So maybe no, I'm not going to do either of the two teams in Virginia either. So and then I got to consider the Panthers. Okay, so those four teams. Not leaning towards the two Texas teams. I just feel like there's no way in Texas. It's kind of the same thing. The pulled pork thing is the thing that's making me think about it. Is no way the two Texas teams.
I will say the pulled pork one is probably your biggest clue.
Yeah,
it's definitely a southern team.
Yeah, but I don't feel like the two Texas teams. So I'm thinking between the Titans and the Panthers, which are right next to each other state-wise. The Nashville barbecue. All right, screw it. Final answer: Carolina Panthers.
It is the Carolina Panthers.
Hey!
They call Charlotte Uptown. It's
yeah.
Uptown Charlotte.
Yeah, you're
See,
right.
if you know that, you would know exactly which team it is.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, but I still got it right, so that's cool.
Yes. And I had a massive debate with a lot of people when I lived in North Carolina about, I'm like, no, barbecue is pulled pork, ribs, steak, like all this other stuff. They're like, no, pulled pork is only barbecue is only pulled pork. I'm like, you guys are wrong.
No. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I know where you kind of gotta jump off here in a second, but I'd like to throw out here, at least when it comes to to barbecue, there's definitely more here because you mentioned stuff like steak and ribs. Man, you're forgetting the brisket.
Oh,
the brisket
trust me,
is
I don't
the
forget the
part.
brisket. It's just many people don't deserve to know how good brisket can be.
But that's the thing, is it's like pulled pork is not one of my top barbecue items. I mean, I like it.
That's what I said.
And some people don't deserve to attempt to make brisket either.
Because they said,
pulled pork.
No, because they said, oh, we're going to go have some pulled pork. I'm like, oh, so we're going to have like all of these things. They're like, no, we're going to have, or they said, we're going to go have some barbecue. I'm like, oh, so we're going to have all these things. And they're like, no, we're only having pulled pork. I'm like, that's no, just no. I'm like, you're not getting corn on the cob that's been like grilled. You're not getting brisket. You're not getting this. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys?
I'm just gonna throw it out there. He's not here to join in with me on it, but if he did, he'd understand. But there's a place down here, there's a smokehouse down here that Tyler and I like to hit up a lot on our lunch break. Um, where it's a what we often get there is there's pretty good brisket there. There's this really good jalapeno sausage that I get there, and then they've got these deep fried jalapeno mac and cheese bites and these fries that basically taste like a French toast stick, and then just awesome cornbread and awesome sauce that goes with it. I love barbecue, pizza, sushi, you name any of those three, and I'm all over it.
I love barbecue from the South.
Yeah, and you know what real barbecue is.
Also lived in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Alrighty, sweet.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week after
Yeah, see
we
you next week.
know who's
Yep.
playing in the Super Bowl.
Hopefully not the Chiefs.
Hopefully
Good
not
night.
the Chiefs. Good night.